Exciting news, Farcasters! Our premier sponsor, Snickerdoodle, recently released their State of Farcaster 2024 report, and it's all about you. Ever wonder how your voice shapes this platform? They dive deep into the data to showcase how our crypto-native user base can drive innovation and product development. Want to see how you fit in? Check out snickerdoodle.com and download the full report. Remember, your engagement here isn't just social, it's shaping the future of decentralized media. Let's keep building this space together with Snickerdoodle.
GM Farcaster. Today is Monday, October 14th, and you're here with Adrian and Nownish Prof, and we haven't had any technical difficulties this morning, and things are going just fine. Happy Monday.
Happy. It's been quite the Monday of a Monday. And by the way, if I just suddenly disappear from the screen, it's because my power might just surge and go out at any moment.
All right, but you made it back. You made it back to Florida.
I am back home in Florida, and but there's still some issues with power and internet and things like that. So there's a possibility that I just disappear. So hopefully not.
All right. Well,
hopefully not.
Fingers crossed.
You know
wait, we have.
I do want to mention. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's hope. And I think I'm getting some delay, so sorry about that. I was going to say because I did not pull this as a cast, but this behind me was Bagels and Builders in Venice Beach on Friday. So after our show, that's where I went. And you can see Jan Frilla right there doing some art. And that was and the back of that shirt is also his art. And there's some bagels. And then the Venice Beach sign. So that was on the same road, if you remember, where we had FarCon. This is Minotti's. That's right across the street from the FarCon location. So some people may feel familiar to a few of you. So yeah, so that was Friday afternoon. And then I left Saturday morning, but there was a big announced event at Dreamland, which is Bob Burnquist's property. So who's a pro skateboarder, a lot of people may know. And that some of the images coming from that is pretty amazing. So yeah. And awesome. We're going to do some news, and then we're going to bring up Ivy, who's waiting in the wings. And I'm excited to hear all about what she's got going on. We see you down there. She hears us. So Adrian's going to drive again today. And she's like, cannot wait to stop. She can't wait till I take back over. But you got one more day.
This is my fourth time in a row of clicking the buttons. It's getting a little easier, so I don't know. Maybe I should keep going, but it's really kind of not fun. But news has happened. But news has happened. But can I ask you? Can you click the button to make news show up on the screen? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
Sure.
Button. Look.
Oh, wait a minute. No, not that one. Okay, I'll put us on the other side. Go ahead.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. And thank you, Chic Bangs, for the words of encouragement.
She's doing great. She's
doing great. So starting off with this, from DWR asking, are other people seeing casts like this that they didn't do? And he's quote casting a cast from Oxen of a top hat.
Just a little degen hat. That's it.
Yeah. By the way,
there was a few of them that popped up. So yeah, and then and people hadn't casted them, so they were like, "What's that?"
So. This is like, I think, like biggest fear when it comes to crypto, because so much of crypto is code code is doing things, not necessarily people. I mean, that's kind of the promise of blockchains, which is code that it runs. But at the same time, it's always such a scary thing. Like sometimes you know, if you get that feeling of like open up your wallet, you don't know what you're going to see and you kind of panic. So this to me is like a big panic button when I see like, wait, someone's casting on my behalf. What happened? We got to the bottom of it. It was really, it looked like it came from Yup was signing it. We're hearing reports that Yup is posting messages to users' accounts without their permission. It's likely an accident. It was. If you have previously connected Yup to Farcaster or Twitter, we recommend disconnecting it to be safe. They later got in touch. That's VNDWR got in touch. And yes, chatting with the UP team, looks like it was an accident from their side. They have since gone and kind of removed everything. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
And they also, there was another cast which we didn't pull from Horse Facts that said they took off the fee to disconnect. Yep. So normally there's a bit of a fee to do that, a warps fee. It's not a lot, but they disconnected that fee so you can disconnect safely. Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a panic if you go through and look at the casts that were happening. And it was kind of like middle of the night. So for a lot of people, at least in the US, and it looked like there was some panic going on of like, how did this, how is this happening? And it's some sort of bug. Don't exactly know, but it is definitely, I think we'll hear more detail on that as soon as they can dive in a little bit and investigate and figure out how it all happened. But not great.
Yeah. Well, listen, every time you kind of connect an app and it says, you connect and there's different levels of what you're authorizing apps to do on your behalf. And, if
Yep,
you're signing up a Supercast, you're creating a signer and letting Supercast post messages for you. Just like in
exactly.
Warpcast, you're letting Warpcast cast on your behalf. This is Prop, you bring this up all the time about trust.
Yeah, I was just
So
thinking that. I was
there's
just thinking that.
still, right? So like, oh,
Yeah,
in blockchain, we're trustless, and there's still always an element of
always.
who's writing the code
Yep.
that, so anyway, I think it was resolved pretty
Trust
quickly.
Trust is the real currency of Web3 because anytime you're connecting your wallet, you're trusting that the team behind that wallet, or whoever is doing the right thing. And you can do all your due diligence that you want, but then, something like this can happen where it's, not them, but there's some kind of breach.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, we're going to find out more. So more to come.
And I guess my only last take on this is like, when you're playing in emerging spaces,
Yeah.
we haven't, you haven't hit every possible scenario. So hopefully all these things that are happening, one, are somewhat safe. It didn't it didn't cost someone their entire reputation or their funds, and hopefully we learn from it and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
ecosystem gets stronger.
Exactly. Yes, and this is my cast about the trending feed, and we don't have to read it exactly, but I can say why I love. So about a week ago, Dan asked, how sad would you be if the trending feed went away? And I had a little hissy fit because I love the trending feed. It's super helpful for us to make sure that we're not missing anything that's popular on the timeline. But the other way that it's really helpful if you're not using it is when you've been away yourself. Like I have been a little bit less online than I normally am, and it was so helpful. So if you're just getting back from Permissionless or Nouns Fest or whatever, go check through the trending feed because you'll see everything that you missed. And please, Dan, don't take it away. Please,
Yeah, I'm always
please, please.
surprised that Dan wants to take it away, and I think his argument is the home feed is your personalized trending,
Yeah,
but
it's
not
not.
if you go away. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to
It's
see it.
not. It's just not. It's not the same. And there's other people who've said, "Oh, the trending is exactly like their home feed." For me, it's been always been different.
Yeah.
And it can be vastly different. It's a little bit closer now, but still there's always things that I see there that I don't see in my home feed. So please keep
Yeah.
everybody go use the trending feed so Dan doesn't get rid of it.
If
Right?
you
Just
like
click
it.
that button.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Just
Oh.
go click that button.
What do you think of the trending feed? We love the trending feed. This from Matayo on the 1-year anniversary of Dan tweeting. We're permissionless. I think it was still Twitter a year ago. We're
Yeah, it was.
permissionless. So that was when you no longer needed to DM Dan to ask for an invite. Matayo had that happy permissionless day.
That was only a
Followed.
year ago or 2 years ago? A
It
year
was
ago?
1 year ago, of course. 1 year.
Oh, yeah, it was a year ago. Wow, that's
Mhm.
crazy.
Followed by Cameron's permissionless meme. It's the permissionless Farcaster,
Or
which is one of my uh, favorite ones. And this from Heavyweight, who said, "I saw someone announce that it was 1 year since
yeah.
Farcaster went permissionless. list, and I got curious. How much have I earned daily from just being myself here since then? And she goes on to list out various rewards, airdrops, and other activity. And hers totaled over $36 a day. So over $13,000 for the year. And that's.
And mine is way more than that. So I'm grateful. Very grateful. It's pretty amazing.
And yeah, and I don't think that's why we're here, but it's
a nice bonus.
It's a new, yeah.
It's a nice bonus. It's a nice surprising bonus, that's for sure.
So yeah, so up next are some updates from Farcaster builders. There's a channel, The Arena, where people post their updates of what they're building, and it just seemed like not even all in The Arena, but there were just a lot of kind of founder updates that I wanted to highlight. So this from Cassie, who's building Equilibrium, with an update. Geomagnetic storm put our 10/10 date for 2.0 on hold until October 12th, 11 a.m. UTC. Resi HW is especially at risk of erratic behavior during G4, G5 conditions, and risking exclusion of launch participation was not an acceptable condition. But now we're clear skies and 2.0 is launching in around 8 hours. I actually don't know if it actually launched. I think it did. Congrats.
I think it did. I believe it did. Yeah. So amazing. But what I found most amazing was that the solar flares were, and the geomagnetic blah 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 was the thing that was holding back. I was like, oh, that's wild.
I need a ELI 5 on what the impact, like what the relationship is between geomagnetic storm and the launch of Equilibrium. And
we do need to get Cassie on here to talk about Equilibrium, and I would love to ask her that as well.
Yeah, we're over.
A better understanding.
Long overdue.
Long overdue. We need to get her on here. Now, I was didn't want to bug her while she was doing this new release, so it was kind of like, okay, we'll wait till after. But it's time. It's time, Cassie. We need you on here.
We need you. This from Matthew, an update with events. Excited to share a ton of updates to event, including event details mini app, host tools mini app, recurring events, frame builder 2.0, updated event frame, and an event bot. Read on for more details. I love seeing the evolution of events intertwined with Farcaster. I think it's like my favorite kind of orthogonal, it's not a social app, but it uses social. And what was that answer from Sheik?
That was from Sheik. Geomagnetic storms impact the wave frequencies on Earth. So signals are impacted.
I just told you I'm 5 years old. That doesn't.
I know. We need a little bit. Yeah.
I need and explain it like I'm 5, not like I'm a smart high schooler. I'm 5. I still take naps. Okay. This from Woj, new on Supercast anonymous posting. Any Supercast user can now post on @superanon. Just go to the cast menu, press the new mask button, and have fun. Rules: no bullying. Supercast keeps logs, but will never look unless necessary, exactly like Warpcast DMs. Abuse equals ban without warning. So I don't know if you're following SuperAnon, or if you've been seeing some of the Anon.
Not. Now I got to look. No, I missed this one completely, so I got to go dive in. Might be time for an alt. I don't know, just for fun.
Yeah. So that was fun. Nonlinear, lots of small fixes and improvements this week for Hypersub and Fabric that I'm not going to read, but
he's shipping. He's been shipping a lot. Yeah. So if you're using Hypersub, make sure you're staying up to date because he's been shipping a lot of new changes and updates, which are great.
And this also from Nonlinear, mint a Hypersub directly from a cast with Payflow. Did Senaver.eth ask us for permission? No. Did he need to? No. Was special access or coordination required to make this happen? No. Permissionless interoperatively for the win. How cool is that?
That was very cool. I love seeing that. Very, very cool. And in a nice, easier way to use, especially if you're using Hyperbot as a gating tool for your channel. This is going to make it so much easier for people to join that channel. So that's great. Love it.
And
this was cool.
More products, more launches. This is Christopher testing. Is it PwnDAO? PWN DAO's frame
I think
for
so.
P2P. P2P under collateralized lending with my friend Pedro with 3 W's. It's a simple proof of concept. Fund my proposal to help me test. I'm the one that took out the loan. We'll pay back. I promise, etc. But is this all done in a frame as well? Yes, it's a frame.
Yes.
So I can put up something in my wallet as collateral, ask for a loan amount, what the rate will be, what you get paid back, and people can choose to fund it or not. And
Pretty cool. So it's a pawn
yeah.
shop, essentially. That's the thought
Oh,
there.
that's the pawn
Yeah,
DAO. Got
that's
it.
the pun. That's the pun. The pun is the pawn. The pawn.
Without
There you
the
go.
vowels, because we don't.
Exactly. Uh-huh. Because we don't like vowels. You know how we are.
I don't get that. So this from Jesse Pollock. Base is now the largest Ethereum L2 by TVL, and behind Ethereum, Tron, Solana, and BSC as layer ones. So
Crazy.
yeah,
It's amazing. And yeah, so they just surpassed Arbitrum. So that was a big one. So it's amazing to see where Arbitrum's been around a lot longer. So great work based.
speaking. Well, and speaking of economics, this from Snickerdoodle with
Speaking of,
their state of Farcaster wallet analysis. Over 19,500 wallets on Farcaster are holding ETH, giving it 51% of the token value on the platform. Quite the ideal ecosystem to target for any brand looking to enter the crypto space. I was kind of surprised it's only 19,500. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this was it may be more now. Who knows? So
mhm,
this was a little bit ago. So, but yeah, still pretty impressive.
yeah. This from Dan, not in the arena, but in the Farcaster updates. Just a listing of what Merkle shipped on Warpcast. Channels, more permissive replies, 2-click invite to channel from a reply, member badges, banned from channel, a bunch of bug fixes. 2, reduce the price of signups to $3 with a new spam model. More people are eligible for USDC rewards, which we saw. I've seen a lot more people celebrating
Yeah,
that they've got $5
new
reward.
folks. Yeah. Hmm.
X and Twitter verifications and developer API, full-size frames are back, expiring messages for DCs, public snap chain draft, FIP for location, import a Farcaster account to Warpcast, created outside of Warpcast, 9, a bunch of other bug fixes. So
And a bunch of other things.
they,
The shipping will continue until QDAO has been achieved, as
they,
your weekly reminder.
by the way, and how do you feel like the vibes are right now? I was getting weird vibe
Off,
this weekend.
little off, definitely a little off. Vibes are off. We need to get those vibes back. So we got to start thinking about that. But it's
I don't
definitely a little off right now. Yeah. What do you think?
The way I picked up on it is based on people casting about the vibes being off. I didn't notice vibes
Yeah.
were off until I saw some things that people were referring to, and then when I started looking at it, I was like, I guess people seem a little off. I don't know. Um, did you see this update from V about? Oh, wait a minute. We have to stop and address this. Oh no, not that
Yeah.
one. This
The,
one
the one
from.
before it. Yeah. The one before it. I knew what you were gonna do. Quality active daily active users. So Q being quality rather than just focusing on number of daily active users. So that's what QDAO is. What that actually looks like, whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Related is what is spam. So like I would say Q is the
yeah,
opposite of spam. If you have a spectrum, you've got kind of quality is what you want for a network, spam is what you don't. As hard it is to quantify Q, you can't and in Varun's cast when he talks about how they think about spam, explains it's actually hard to quantify what spam is because it's different for everybody. It's not just automated activity. I liked what he said here is the best definition is inauthentic activity. It's that
mm,
feeling you get when you realize that someone who is following, liking, or replying to you is doing it to benefit themselves and not
mm,
because they're interested in you.
yeah. Okay, that's a really good explanation, I think.
And right. And then what's the metric that like how do you define that in code? It's a little bit hard.
That's the
So
tough part.
he did have, I love this, a qualified AMA. He said, AMA, ask me anything about spam, but only after you read the thread. But this was a good, we'll link this in the show notes because it's a good thread, I think, to read through to understand the
Definitely.
problem set. Oh, this from Dan, asking people what should we do with egregious examples of squatted channels. I'm going to call this individual out since it's clearly squatting at 0xg is sitting on a bunch of city channels, not actively building communities. And a few other thoughts. What I thought was really interesting about this is by publicly like kind of asking people for opinions on what to do when you come and kind of come down, like if you're going to revoke them and kind of take this opinionated, centralized, everyone feels so bad anytime leader does something, uses their power.
Yeah.
But by doing it publicly, you're able to kind of get consensus.
Yeah, I think it is helpful to get some consensus here. But there's also different types, and there's obviously different types of squatting. One is like, I think I'm going to do something with this. I'm just not quite ready yet. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that. I gotta be honest. But then there's the I'm trying to snag this name of this other brand, and in the hopes that I can sell this to them later. And that's a little different. Yeah.
No one is accusing you of squatting.
I know.
Okay, you are good. You're golden. You don't have to worry.
I have no brand. I am not squatting on anyone's brand name. I'll tell you that right now. It's only my own. Only
but
my
yeah,
own
it's
potential
just
ones.
like using namespaces as speculation and this like speculative behavior. Like I'm gonna scoop something up and in the hopes of selling it.
And Sheik would like Dan to also help with squatted ENSs. He cannot. He cannot help with that, right, Adrian?
No, and the only thing I honestly don't know what to do except publicly shame and make squatters feel bad about doing it. But
they're always going to do it. Yeah, it's the same thing as domain names and all the other things.
Dan gave a stream of consciousness on channels and about where we are. I think was it only like a week? Was it a week, 2 weeks? How long have we had channels update?
A week, right? Just a little over a week. Yeah, a little over a week. Yeah, everybody wants decentralized until they don't. Yeah, I agree with that. That's crypto. Yeah. Until it gets too difficult. Yep. Same.
I don't want to read his whole thing because you can do that, but I think we will say the overwhelming top complaint about the new channels is I lost access. I can't cast in the channels I used to. And that's, this was one of the few things that they changed as opposed to introducing new. So it's like when people get used to something, especially I find that a lot of the complaint came from the fact that Merkle was like for the past year telling everybody cast in channels.
Yes, for greater
and now
distribution.
It's like, asterisk. No, doesn't matter. Don't cast in channels. Only cast in channels if you want to cast in channels.
Yeah, it feels bad. It feels bad. It feels bad when you go to cast something. Like I was going to go cast something in someone build, and I was like, oh, I don't have access to that. I had to reach out, and I got access, and I still haven't casted it because then I forgot what it was. In that moment, I have to like search my brain now. But it's friction, and hopefully it's limited time friction. But I do also think there's still that thing to solve for new folks, and I know that's something they're working on, of like onboarding to channels right from the start, and they're going to figure that out hopefully. But yeah, that's definitely doesn't feel great.
And this from Ivy.
From Ivy.
I think people are missing the point of new channels. And is Ivy ready? Can we bring her up maybe?
Yeah, let's bring her up. Are you ready, Ivy? Give us a thumbs up if you hear us and you're ready. All right, we're bringing her up. Because that would be easier. If we're going to talk about her, we might as well talk about her to her face.
GM Ivy.
Good morning. My cat also says hi, as you might have guessed.
Welcome.
Hello to the cat. What is the cat's name?
Killbot. Don't ask.
Hi, Killbot. Okay. Okay, I shouldn't have asked.
Does Killbot have a Farcaster account? I feel like
she doesn't yet. No, maybe one day soon, but not yet.
All right. Well, Ivy, this is what you said about channels. I think people are missing the point of new channels. They turned Farcaster into a utility protocol with unlimited potential to build on. i.e. frames, composer actions, etc., can create new experiences for your community. Definitely makes Farcaster community driven, which are hard to build though. You want to elaborate?
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I would love to. So I kind of thought after these changes and people were complaining, given Dan kind of compared it to Clubhouse, like, oh, it's like a Clubhouse room, like everyone can read, but only certain people can talk. It made me think about how that platform considered being a like utility very, very briefly. And like I think that's what channels are now. It's not like canonical, this is the movies channel. Everyone can post here and talk about movies. And it's more of a tool, and you have to kind of build your own community, or if you don't have one already, find one. So yeah, I think it's really powerful, and people just aren't quite getting it yet. But
I agree. I think we'll get there. But they're definitely, for some of the broader channels, like movies, like screens, things like that, I think we just have to have a more loose entry point. Especially, I think those types of channels are good for newbies to find people and then sort of start to dive in and find a more niche things that they connect with. So I think it's just going to be, it's just an adjustment period.
Yeah, and I guess, and Ivy, I think what you're saying also, and tell me if I'm wrong, but in the past, we really kind of squashed all channels as one thing, which was maybe it's a technology primitive, but they're more or less they were topics, canonical topics, as Dan keeps reminding us they are not anymore. And so you kind of looked at them all as monolithic, or they should behave the same way. And are you saying now it's like, don't focus on kind of what you're building on top, but look at it as just like a utility that can be built on top of, and then maybe in the future, maybe it's 6 months from now, 3 months, 2 years, whatever, we'll have n number of very, very different things that are built on top of channels.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's 100% what I'm saying, that there's something to build on top of, not to consider like I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Like, don't think of them as like center camp at like Burning Man, I guess, that like everyone can go there or everyone's like supposed to go there. But it's something you need a like invite to, which of course will make people mad because they were previously invited and now it feels like someone kicked them out. But I think like there's like with like all the apps in the ecosystem, and I'm saying this also in reference to mine that we're going to talk about, that it's just not quite rich enough yet for people to understand like what they can do with the channel. Like, oh, we can put a frame in, or like we can do this, and that's why people are kind of like not getting it, versus if there were like 3 million Farcaster apps you could possibly put in a channel, I think people would be a little bit more receptive to it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you want to shift gears and let's chat with Ivy about what she's building?
Yeah.
And then we can do a quick wrap up of anything we missed. Is there anything else that you wanted to jump into before we do that?
Because I'm clicking buttons and therefore the showrunner and I have an idea of what else we haven't talked about.
Yes.
Good question, Prof. So I think we should talk to Ivy about what she's building. And maybe we'll come back to the new test and maybe not.
Okay. So Ivy, tell us what you're building with your app, and give us a little high overview of what's going on and when's it launching?
Yeah, definitely. So it's called Farcaster, and right now it's more or less a Clubhouse for Farcaster via a mini app. So I actually posted a video earlier today. I don't know if you guys are able to maybe pull that up, and it's the like second cast on my profile, I think. So I mean, I'm trying to recall how I actually decided to make it. And I think it was after co-working with Sam on something, and I was like, hey, why hasn't anyone done a mini app on this? It seems like that has solved any of the like you can't do this with frames thing. And I thought, well, there's probably some technical reason. I'm just probably really dumb and like I'm not seeing it. But I thought, oh well, I'll like try to do it. And then over a weekend, I think like 2 weekends ago, I made something that actually worked in a mini app that lets you like audio chat. So cool. This is my so this is my cheeky little not quite rage bait, but kind of tech bait. That only works because it's an older version of iOS, because my phone's ancient. Can you do the volume
And-
on that, Adrian, at all?
Will it work?
I
I
don't
think
know.
the volume is turned off. Yeah, there you go.
But will you hear it?
We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So this is launching from a frame or from a mini app.
Yeah, so
You're
this
gonna
is
be
just
launching. Okay.
launching from a deep link. So if you
Okay.
don't have sound, maybe if you could full screen it, Adrian, then just pause on the like 3 seconds the app is actually open. Probably should have prepared for this a little better.
That's all good. It's all good. And then Adrian's like not used to being the if you click on make it full screen, Adrian, that might there you go.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want.
All
Okay.
right, cool.
Yeah. So right now it's more or less Clubhouse. So you have listeners and you have speakers, and I've run through some calls and some tests with Chic and Jamie at Chicago and a couple other folks to verify it actually works. And it kind of actually works. And it launches directly from a mini app. It can also be a composer action, but I think most people want to run it as a mini app. And yeah, so I mean that's the overall MVP right now. I posted a paragraph with the like overall roadmap. And I'd like to eventually get to fully permissionless decentralized where people can just create like their own rooms if they want to. So want to add a live chat, which is almost working in time for doing co-working, a little audio stream interview with Chic on Wednesday.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think like that's kind of the differentiator in terms of why would someone want to do it on Farcaster? Like, okay, you can co-working and talk to people. Like, why wouldn't you go somewhere else for that? The chat, should it be up and running by Wednesday? Signs are good so far. Basically
Very cool.
uses people's Farcaster usernames. So you can like directly live chat in a way that's not cast. You don't have to worry about like filling up your timeline or like someone else's timeline, but you can still like interact with people. The product I'm using, their chat also has a polls API. So I mean, one use case that really jumped out at me during a recent stream was like someone asked their viewers a question. So if like you could do that and put a poll directly into chat that says, hey, what do you think about Prof's hat today? I think it's, personally, I think it's great. Some less evolved people I think, well, Prof, that color, not so much. And you can see that directly in chat. And so it's like, I think it like elevates the like audience interaction to more of a specific kind of thing where you can ask them direct questions and get results really quickly. All kinds of like other cool stuff their product can do, blah, blah. But
so
yeah.
what is the underlying product that you're like building on top of?
Yeah, so there's a company called Get Streams. They're actually pretty pretty new, I say, to the streaming space, and by pretty new, they've been around since like 2014. And because I was betting on like I was gonna build this anyway. I was betting on it taking like months because you have to worry about creating like proper WebRTC. Then you have to put up like RTMP streamers, blah blah. But this I was able to do in a weekend because of how much their kind of underlying infrastructure takes care of. So I was really impressed with like it could probably do video. I'm just like not quite there yet.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, can it do video? I'm waiting for the day where we can do that very seamlessly. But the problem is, I also then want it connected in with StreamYard, and that's going to be the thing that's, I'm sure, a little challenging. So
you probably could because they have RTMP ingestion. So I mean, you could connect OBS directly to a feed. So it's probably doable. I have all kinds of visions of like how great it's going to be to have a like live chat and video in a mini app. There are a couple bugs with like Chrome's autoplay permissions that are only present on web actually. So mobile works great, but yeah, TLDR, all that feature rambling to say that yeah, that's kind of the vision is like Farcaster Clubhouse that people have been asking for since like the platform
forever.
began.
Yeah. So more, and I like that you're saying Farcaster Clubhouse and you're not saying Twitter Spaces. Why are you making that sort of
Okay,
your
'cause
choice? Out
Twitter
of
didn't.
curiosity.
Okay, because okay, so this is what really bothers me actually. Like, if you were there when
Yeah.
like social audio was born, you know it was on Clubhouse, but because
Yep.
Clubhouse was relevant for all of 6 months, really that you think Twitter Space.
COVID times back in the
Yes.
day. Yeah.
Yes, yes, like, if you're actually there and like, "Oh, this is a brand new type of social media," like, you know, it's Clubhouse, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, I just listened to that Twitter Space with these, like, famous NFT people," then you probably know it as, like, Twitter Spaces, but
Yeah. I just I didn't know if there was anything that worked fundamentally different or if it was just
mm,
a word choice. So that's why I was
yeah,
trying to dive in a little bit.
yeah, let me think if there like, I don't think there is, like,
Okay.
Clubhouse and one of the other products, Tavern, that
Yep.
kinda does the live audio experience. They actually use the same underlying product,
Okay.
Agora, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Very
Yeah.
Have
cool.
you?
So when are
Yeah.
you launching? When are you launching the mini app?
Yeah. So, we're doing our kind of half tech demo with like actual people, half MVP on Wednesday. Um, then I'm going to work with Chic to bring higher FM into a playable mini app so people can play it from right
Ooh,
within Farcaster. And if they're on
love it.
older iPhones, they can just play it and leave it running in the background. Um, and after that, I think I'm probably going to start thinking about like an actual launch date in terms of like, you know, if someone wants this for their channel, then I can do it manually. That's kind of roadmap item number 3, and then number 4 is fully permissionlessly. So all those words to really not answer your question. I don't have a firm launch
No,
date
I
as
think
far
you
as
did. I got you. I got you.
yeah,
Yeah, it's one step at a time. We're in like a test phase right now. So
totally,
that's
yeah.
very cool. So test phase coming like Wednesday and then kind of going from there. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of basecaster that I was able to do in under a weekend, really.
Amazing.
That's incredible. Ivy, I have a question as just kind of for people who are developing mini apps. It sounds like if you're developing a mini app,
Mhm.
do you need to be testing it on different browsers, different devices? Like, is that on the app developer? I saw you cast something to V about, or Horsefax about the iPhone SE, and I know you just mentioned something about Chrome. So is all that
Yeah.
complexity for you as a mini app developer?
Yeah, because mini apps, like, they're a lot more rich than frames are. Like, you really do, uh, unfortunately, have to now get back into that web development thing of like testing against different clients. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to test against like Edge and Chrome and different browsers, but there are some fundamental differences between mobile and web.
Mm.
Like, most of my difficulty has been with the Chrome autoplay policy on web that you have to click in before it'll actually start playing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I mean, there's probably tons more of the media stuff that I haven't run into yet. But yeah, people
Mhm.
should at the very least test on mobile and web, if not actual different browsers too.
Cool. Great question. And I love this is a great point. People had to leave Clubhouse to message each other, and that drove traffic to Twitter. And I
Okay,
think that
so
was it. Or the follow-up. You know, there was a lot of like conversations on Twitter about what happened on Clubhouse last night, kind of thing. So I agree that and then Twitter saw what was happening and was like, oh, we could do that. And then just wanted to capture the audience. And
totally.
that's what happened. Yeah.
So one of the really fun parallels between Clubhouse and Farcaster is that Clubhouse did the Twitter verification, like you can link your Twitter to, but they did it as like account verification. So like if a fake Mark
Right.
Andreessen joined, like only one of them would have their Twitter linked, which is, I don't know, like I think Farcaster kind of is like doing that too. But yeah, then it kind of really hurt them when they used to use Twitter for like Clubhouse DMs, because then like, oh
Right.
well, Twitter is gonna like make this eventually, and you guys kind of screwed yourself
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah, it did. And you could just tell that there was also some not some there's no love lost between at that point I think it was still Jack and the Clubhouse team. So
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
60. So there was some of that too, I think that was happening in the background. I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna go build the same thing and take all your people.
Mhm,
that's,
mhm.
that's what happened.
Totally.
And that's what happened. But it was a great. I loved Clubhouse when it was popping. It was a lot of fun. So I think this is very bullish to see this. This will be cool. And Chic, I'm excited that you're going to be part of this soft launch. I think this is perfect. Good combo. Makes a lot of sense. And this will be fun to do on Wednesday, to listen to it on Wednesday.
Yeah, and it'll be in Farcaster at 11 a.m. PST.
Okay, great.
And I can't be there. I'm kind of upset.
Well,
but
sorry.
Please do another one. And Ivy, do you want to shout out? I saw you launched a new channel over the weekend, maybe?
Oh yes, I would love to. Thank you. So I launched Fem Founders /Fem-Founders on Farcaster. Yeah, because I think without getting into my feelings on the change in management of /Founders, I think that there has kind of always been a need for a space for women and non-binary people to connect with each other over their unique challenges in venture capital, which I also won't spend 30 minutes talking about, but
yeah, that's a whole separate show.
Oh yeah, so so I just thought I would make it, and I was like, well, I don't know if it'll just be like Sam and like Kristen joining me, but it seems like there's
I need to jump in there. Yeah.
People.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's great. I think you'll find there's a lot of women founders on Farcaster, so we'll find them. Women and non-binaries, come on in. Amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Adrienne, do you have any additional links that you wanted to shout out before we wrap today?
Let's see, what did we not cover? Let me
anything
yes, I do. I have
okay.
a few more. While I'm gonna find them. Ivy, I'm curious just on your take on, because you weren't on yet when we were chatting. How are you feeling about Farcaster vibes?
Oh, good question.
Okay. So I am the doom naysayer, negative Nancy in the room, always about Farcaster. Okay, so it's like really weird because
you said it, not me. Just so you know, let the record state. Let the record state.
Yes. Like a lot of people are down on the channel changes. Like, oh, I feel so bad now. I don't want to. Like, I'm posting on X more. I think that there's that kind of vibe shift because people lost access to something. So people had their favorite balls taken away. Don't read into that metaphor. And I think it's I think there's a vibe shift, but it's because it's this transitory period and it needs like a couple people to really build something cool in terms of communities and something that is like there for people to go to. Because right now, if you're just like reading and you want to like interact and you can't because you're not part of a channel, I think people are even reluctant to ask to be part of a channel because they're like, oh, well, I was removed for a reason. And often like it was just the reason that the like auto ad algorithm didn't catch them. But TLDR, people are complaining because something changed. So definitely, yes.
I think it's just temporary. Yeah, I think we just have a temporary vibe shift right now.
Yeah.
By the way, it's no longer in my DNA to like think, or I should say, like, if someone removes me from a channel, I will ask to come back, right? But I think I had to learn that behavior, which is like, you don't get what you don't ask for. And people aren't removing, and by the way, as someone who owns a few channels, I think I'm like, it's not premeditated and no one's really thinking of you. So just kind of shoot your shot, ask. There's really no reason not to. Yes, I wanted Prof back to the cast. I did want to shout out a few more. This one from V announcing a new maybe round of Merkle grants.
Oh, yes.
So Warpcast is going to do another series of grants in Q4 for people building on the Farcaster protocol. Who should we focus on sponsoring this time? I don't remember if they've asked for
I don't recall
opinions.
That before. No.
And I know in the past it was very specifically and solely on developers. They were kind of developer grants. I think building on the Farcaster protocol can be a little bit of a loose definition. And I know I saw a lot of people encouraging, I think, Merkle to consider expanding past the definition of I'm writing code.
And
it,
thank you to everyone who shouted out GM Farcaster. We appreciate it. And and if you see this in your passings and want to shout us out again, we appreciate that as well.
we're open to grants, is what Prof is saying.
We are very open to grants. We appreciate you. So thank you for that. But there's a lot of good ones in here, and a lot of people just building in all different possible ways. There was a discussion about artists. Are artists, is there any support for artists? So we'll see what this ends up as. But I saw a lot of great suggestions in these replies.
What's really interesting is like if they asked this a year ago, there would be consensus on who to give the grant to.
Yeah.
Because there was like a handful of developers building. It was like, you got Woj and David Furlong and Greg and like and Dylan. Like, Ivy, were you building on Farcaster a year ago? I feel like not yet.
No, I only started building 2 weekends ago. So.
Oh, all right. But it's just, I think it's just a testament to how crazy long this thread is, and that there's no consensus. It's like, good luck. I did ask V kind of who they want to be, like who are they wanting to reward, like what it and what's the main goal and whatnot. And he just said the metric I want to move is, are we building things that people are using? Which that can be up for interpretation.
Christina said she can't find this cast. So it was at V's. It was at V's profile, but we'll also have this in our show notes. So you'll see it in there later today.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got for us, Adrian, before we wrap?
Right. So maybe we'll end there.
All right. You sure?
Because I can't click anymore. I'm trying to
We're gonna go back to normal on Wednesday, I promise.
I honestly, I either need I'm not cut out for a live show, guys. Like I can't do this.
This is an interesting time to tell everybody that.
I'm trying to
do it for over a year.
I can yap live, but like I can't look at my computer and pull up links live.
Greater appreciation for my insanity as a multitasking ninja, huh?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, you've done great. You've done great filling in. I just was really afraid to take over again if my power went out, but we made it. It's amazing. Thank you, FPL. So anything else that you want to shout out, Adrian, before we wrap?
Just have a lovely Monday and keep the vibes good.
Okay. I do want to mention a couple other things. Wednesday, we do have Mac Vidowski from Kiwi News popping by to talk about some of the latest. They do have a new competition that's starting this week. And Burberry with Burr Friends Poker is going to be on with us on Friday. So Wednesday, we're back to 8:30. Friday, 11:30 a.m. for our night owl Burberry. She's on the East Coast. At least for Ivy, she's on the West Coast. But Burberry's just like I told her 8:30, and she went, "Ew, really?" I'm like, okay, okay, my poker playing friend, I got it. We'll move it for you. That was the first East Coaster who asked for a later time. That's funny.
To be fair, when I was talking with you, Adrian, that was kind of a really long-winded, nice way of saying you that early. No.
I've seen you up early, Ivy, though.
She did way back when. She got up at 5:30 to be a co-host on this show. The second guest co-host we ever had. So I know she was willing, but I'm glad we didn't have to do that to you.
And Ivy, let's not let a whole year go by before you come back.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, we loved having you here. And thank you for playing Cast Out a little ways ago. And we'll be bringing Cast Out back soon. Coming soon.
You are welcome. You're very welcome. We have some work to do, Adrian in our relationship based on that game, but
We have some healing. For those that weren't following our show in June, we had a game show, Survivor-esque competition show, and Ivy feels that I wronged her. And I've not yet, I guess, apologized enough.
Well, it's just,
Well-
remember, it's just a game. It's just a game. But hopefully we're bringing that back soon and we can create more resentments. It'll be fun. Just with the goal of getting more people to dislike each other. Oh, I mean, bringing community together. Wait, what? But anyway, thank you so much for popping by, Ivy. I'm excited for Wednesday to see all that you're doing and see the test run with Chic Bangs. I think it's going to be amazing. And for everybody, we will see you on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. And anything else, Adrian, before we call it?
Good luck. Just good luck with getting your power back.
Thank you.
And
thank you. So far, so good. I mean, it's still been up the whole day, but it was going out early this morning. So hopefully we can continue on.
And thank you everyone for sticking with us while I've struggled through the news this last week.
And with that, everyone,
I appreciate you.
We appreciate all of you. And with that, we say bye-bye. Here we go.